Hi there, vinyl community. Another update. 17 records. It's a lot of records. They're all from Goodwill's thrift store. I don't know what you guys call it. Um, but yeah, picked up a bunch, a lot. First seven are from different Goodwills, and the last 10 are from one Goodwill where they had seven crates filled with records, and I picked out 10 for 50 cents each. Pretty cool stuff in that one, so keep an eye out for that. Let's get started. I'm going to show the least favorite records that I have in this bunch first. Um, this is the worst. This is a band or a duo called One Two with One Step. They're Dutch. According to Discogs, they're synth pop, but they're not. It's pretty bad. From 1988 on Polydor. It's got lyric inner sleeve. Yeah, this totally didn't do nothing for me. Yeah, terrible. They have another album from 1984, I believe. I have not heard that one, but I don't think I wanna after this. Um, this one is also not staying in the collection because I'm not a big metal fan or hard rock fan. This is hard rock, not metal. This is MSG or the Michael Schenker Group with One Night at Budokan. It's a gatefold double album. Picked this up for $1, so price-wise, this is really good. Musically, it's okay, I guess. It's just not my cup of tea. Solid hard rock. I'm not a hard rock guy. So, oh yeah, I'm showing the records. It's on Chrysalis, and this is the German copy. The other one was obviously Dutch band, Dutch copy. This is an American pressing. It's a 12-inch. I don't normally pick up 12 inches unless the artist is really interesting and I want that particular 12-inch. Or the label is interesting. In this case, the label was, and it's this one. This is on Z Records, New York-based label that had a lot of post-punk and no-wave bands on it. Best known artist on there is probably James White and the Contortions. Great stuff. This is not that. This is Don Armando's Second Avenue Rumba Band. Never heard of these guys, but they're on Z, so I thought it could be kind of a, I don't know, post-punk thing. It's not. The song is called I'm an Indian Too. It's disco. It's kind of funky, but it's still disco, and I love the cover. I love this sleeve. I just love it, but I'm not keeping this. This is not really what I'm looking for. On to the records that I do keep. First one is this one. Ramses Shaffi narrates the story of Peter and the Wolf by Prokofiev. It also features Mozart's Children's Symphony. It's classical music for kids, I guess, and I want to be able to play music to our son, but not just the music that I like, but music that's also, for his education. Plus, this cover is really awesome. Great drawing. It's good classical music, and it's narrated in Dutch, so the little guy can understand it later. I think everyone knows Peter and the Wolf. But yeah, this is pretty awesome. Awesome find. This was another pretty cool find for $1. Compilation of Aretha Franklin called Queen of Soul. Different than most of her other stuff, which was on Atlantic. This is on the green CBS label, which is a Dutch CBS label. Not all of the Dutch CBS labels are green, but still. Yeah, this is more of her, I guess, gospel stuff on here. Just not a problem at all. doesn't feature any of her big hits. It is from 1968, so I think RESPECT should be on here, at least, but it's not. But still a great find. Always pick up Aretha Franklin if I see it at Goodwill. And sadly, you don't see it that often. I got two more. This is Tim Hardin, Bird on a Wire. It's his fifth album from 1971. Tim Hardin, his first four albums had numbers. This was his first without a number. Singer-songwriter from the 60s. More of a folk artist. I love this the inside of this gatefold. It has funky moments in it, but it's definitely not funk. It is folk music. It is singer-songwriter stuff. But yeah, this was a great find for $1. Orange CBS. I heard of his name. I've never ever heard his music, I think. Then I heard that he did If I Was a Carpenter. So it's not on here, by the way, but great stuff. Happy to find that. Then I picked up this album. This is Pledging My Love by John Holt. And this kind of, I always tend to pick up or look at records like this at Goodwill or thrift stores because I don't know what the hell this is. This can be anything. This can be cheesy lounge music, easy listening stuff. But I picked it up nonetheless. It's got a wedding ring on it. How cute, with a white flower. And I looked on the back and I saw Trillion Records. And I'm like, could this be the same Trillion Records that had this logo of this helmet? This ancient helmet? Could be. If that is the case, it's reggae. And it has. This is a reggae record. And according to what I've read online, it's rock steady, but I think Fat City Vinyl can tell me more about it. I really, really love this. I still need to glue the sleeve, but that's no problem. Great sounding record. Fun listen. It's poppy. It's not that reggae-ish, if you know what I mean. But it's really, really interesting. So really glad I picked this up. Okay, the next 10 records are all records from one Goodwill that I have not listened to these. I've sampled them, but I've not listened to them. But yeah, these were 50 cents each. A couple of them were double albums. Even those were 50 cents. So pretty stoked, especially the last album I'm going to show you. Killer stuff. Starting off, this is Emer Deodato and Best of Friends with the album Daybreak. Apparently this is a Deodato album that was called Best of Friends and Daybreak. So I don't know if it's a compilation or not or whatever, but it's on a Italian label called Record Bazaar. It's got this pop thing going on. Still in shrink. That's the label. This comes from 1976, but apparently, according to Discogs, it was shiny. It was released first in 1971. But yeah, Deodato, I tend to pick it up, especially the 70s stuff, because I really like it. Sampled it. It's more of a bossa nova thing than a funk jazz thing, but cool stuff anyway. Some more jazz. This is Eugen Cicero with Highlights, double album on MPS, part of a series called Encore. This is volume 10. Other volumes include George Duke, who else were on there? Count Basie, Kenny Clark, Nelson Riddle, Milt Buckner. There's 2 albums with Kenny Clark. And a couple of compilations featuring Jean-Luc Ponty and Art Farmer, blah, blah, blah. I don't know a lot of those. But I really enjoyed this cover, this sort of neon cover. This is from 1976. Originally, this stuff, the music on here was released in 1965, 1966, and it's mostly piano jazz. Not sampled it, have sampled it, not heard it completely, but it's okay, I guess. We'll see. But the cover looks pretty cool, and I cannot leave behind an MPS of an artist I don't really know. Another double album is this one. This is Maze, featuring Frankie Beverly, live in New Orleans, released in 1981, I believe. Maze is a funk group that I've only heard of. I've never owned anything by them. This is my first record by them, and what I've heard so far sounds pretty funky and pretty good. The recording is pretty good. It needs an extra inner sleeve because there's only one in here, but it's the Capitol label, and I believe this is the US pressing. So that's pretty cool. Live photos inside. Solid album, I should think. Then this album I picked up as well. This is a compilation of Three Dog Night, Dutch release from 1975. It's called Joy to the World, The Greatest Hits. I knew Joy to the World, and the second song, which was One, I know that by Amy Mann, her version. Yeah, some classic rock, I should think. Most of this was released in the very late 60s, early 70s. And from what I've sampled, it's pretty okay. It's on the ABC label. But in Holland, it's released, on EMI. So that's a pretty cool find. Also found original soundtrack of On Her Majesty's Secret Service featuring We Have All the Time in the World by Louis Armstrong, which is a really nice song, I should say. That's the insert, the inside of the sleeve. Got some photos of the movie. This was actually a pretty good movie. I think. Not a huge fan of Bond movies and soundtracks, but I cannot leave behind a soundtrack by James Bond. It's on United Artists, and I believe this is the UK pressing, but I could be wrong. Doesn't really matter. James Bond, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Had to pick up this one as well. This is Harry Belafonte, Calypso in brass. This is one of his full-on Calypso albums, and I love that stuff. My wife loves that stuff as well. Not too fond of his ballads and gospel songs that he did. Black RCA. This is the German release again from 1966. So yeah, it features Jump in the Line, which is great, and the Zombie Jamboree, I've sampled that one. That's pretty awesome as well. So pretty stoked with this one. I like this style of Harry Belafonte. I got 4 more records. Yeah, I'm doing fine time-wise. I picked up this Impulse release. Impulse, pick it up. It's jazz. This is Oliver Nelson. Oliver Nelson's big band, actually, live from Los Angeles. It's a US pressing on Impulse. I knew Oliver Nelson from a couple of soundtracks that he did. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting find. Again, only sampled it. It's jazz, and it's on Impulse. So that's pretty cool. This one I also sampled, and I don't know what to think of this. I have to listen to it more carefully, and I don't know what the band name is. I have to check that first. It's Dave Warner's From the Suburbs. Dave Warner's From the Suburb with the Mugs Game. Australian band. This is a 1978 release on Mushroom Records. And it's described everywhere as punk, but I don't hear it. It's kind of weird and I don't know. So this is pretty cool Australian release. But I have to listen to this. I don't know what the hell this is actually. It sounds weird, but it looked interesting. So I picked it up. It was 50 cents. I'm gonna leave that behind. And I also picked up this. This is the fabulous Willie Ride. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Everybody knows that song. It's a gospel, but this is a folk artist. This is, I believe, the UK pressing. Yeah, on Society Records. Originally, I think, different label. I don't know. I've never had anything on the Society label. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the back is glued together with tape, but the vinyl looks pretty good. All this vinyl looks pretty good. There's not a record in here that's scratched or something. So yeah, this is folk music. Interesting. Still have to listen to it. It's just a guy with his guitar. Now the last record I'm going to show you, I thought I already owned it, so I picked it up thinking this could be VCLT, but I don't own it. I now own it, but I didn't own it. Sleeves were similar. The title is exactly the same as are all of this guy's albums. But I was amazed. I was truly amazed finding this for 50 cents at Goodwill. Okay. Jacques Dutronc's first album from 1966, self-titled album. Killer stuff. Just amazing 60s artist. He is up there with my favorite French artists of the 60s, Serge Gainsbourg, Michel Polnareff. He's definitely up there. The sleeve is like nearly destroyed, as you can see, but screw that. The inner sleeve is destroyed as well, so I'm not going to take out the vinyl because it's really hard to get the vinyl back in. But this is just amazing. This is such a wonderful, wonderful record. It's got Les Playboys, Mini Mini Mini, L'Opération. They're all good songs. And for those who don't know, this guy was, I believe, married to François Hardy, of whom I showed a record not too long ago. Anyway, it's under 19 minutes. I'm gonna call it quits here. This is what I found. I'm pretty happy, actually. Goodwill and thrift stores, go to them. It doesn't matter if you've been there and they don't have anything for the last couple of months. Go to it. There's always a chance there's going to be a record that you're going to like. Don't give up hope. Don't. Anyway, take care. Once more, in the description, you'll find my Instagram address. Check it out if you like record sleeves. You don't, probably. But, yeah, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.